Hey, what's up, guys? Mike here with Ninja Signals, giving you your weekly update of 6/13, 2021. Currently, Bitcoin just had a little bit of a pump, so we're celebrating here. We're doing good, so wanted to leave this up, and for everybody that's made money in the pump, let's go to the moon, baby. But just kidding. So before we do that, by the way, if you haven't followed us on Instagram already, do so. So, as we do every single week, first I'll start with a brief recap of what we outlined last week in the weekly plan and kind of how that played out so you can get an idea of what to look for in these. And then I'll go over the macro perspective for this is more for the super long term swing traders or just the hodlers or the altcoin holders. And then I'll get down to the nitty gritty on what we what I think we're going to do in the immediate and short term and, all the nerdy TA stuff. So, first things first, last week we were in this symmetrical triangle. We had a fake out to the upside, and I said we'll probably have a fake out to the downside, a pretty massive one. And, we did exactly that, right? So, I took off this triangle already, but I'll just put it back on real quick. So, okay, we had that fake out to the upside. And then we had a fake out to the downside, back in. So as I was saying last week, I think we were about right here. We just had the fake out to the upside, so we shorted that. And I think we're gonna have a fake out to the downside, and we're looking for longs, right? So what I didn't know is this gonna be the liquidity grab range break of the low, or is it gonna stay in the range? And in the end, we did stay in the range, and we're pushing back up now. So that was where is it? That was a nice little long that we grabbed from 31.5. So pretty nice, pretty nice. But also, I think literally the day after I made the video of the ascending triangle, we had our breakdowns. And this is just to, I harp on this every week, but when we have a range or when we have, a neutral formation, anytime you're at the top, you grab longs. Anytime you're at the top, you grab shorts. Anytime you're at the bottom, you grab longs, right? So this way, you take profit 1, 2, maybe 3, stop loss at entry, you have a risk-free trade. So this way, when you get a neutral formation like this, you're not trying to trade the breakout, right? If you traded this breakout, your target was like 23K out of a symmetrical triangle. You would have got faked out and wrecked up to the upside, obviously now. But this is why I harp on this, right? Down here, you want to grab longs. Up here, you want to grab shorts. And whichever way price breaks out or moves, you have profits in position. So here's a prime example. After I made this video on Monday, okay, we were celebrating shorts with all these shorts breaking out. We actually had more than this, but I just made a collage of 4 pictures. So we had shorts and massive profits, okay? And we took a lot of profits at the bottom. It was 31.3, 31.3, 31.1, right? Took a lot of profits down there. And then today, we had the breakout of the long. So we had the 31 entry, we had the 34 entry, we had a 32 entry that I prematurely sold, RIP. But we had these longs. So it's not like I try to be biased towards one direction. We're trading the range, and whichever way the range breaks out, this is a strategy to where you never have to chase a breakout, right? If you're in position for the breakout, instead of FOMO chasing the breakout and hoping it's not a fake out, you're just taking profits and loving it. And for these shorts, the longs got stopped out. We already took profits, so those were risk-free trades that are already winning. Same thing with the shorts. All the shorts got stopped out, especially these shorts. We already took massive profits. There was only a piece left, got stopped out at entry. So this is a surefire way to make sure you're always winning when there's a range breakout, right? So this is what I always say, and I'll say it again. When you're at the top of a range, you look for shorts, or you look to sell, or you look to take profits. When you're at the bottom of a range, you look to long, right? And when you have a neutral formation like this, it's very likely we just up, down, on the range, unless that there's a clear, decisive increase in open interest and net longs. So that's how last week played out. And you know, long story short, gave you guys the heads up of this. So we were short from here, 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 here. We you know, we cashed in on these shorts. This was a great, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. And then I personally took a long at 31.5 because of the swing failure right here. This was also, I did an update video on this, I believe on Friday. This was also the value area low of this range right here. So perfect long. Didn't have enough time to signal the group on the entry because it bounced past 31.5 pretty much immediately. So, and then, you know, up we go. And then we had this, so we had a short about here that was from a while ago. We did not take this long. We had this short, and then we had this long right here for this epic bet that we had. You know, we played the top. I gave this GP out in the group, but I personally didn't take this long, but took this short and took this long. And it turns out this bat was more powerful than the second one that I laid out because obviously we've already breached A, and now we're, you know, we hit some take profits right here. So this one was a pretty epic harmonic that we're still in. So that's about you know, where it played out to and where we stand. So if you guys remember, you know, when I was harping on up here, you wanted to sell or take profits or sell some of your alts. I was saying down here, now's the time to, you know, buy, right? I was getting the team ready, whether it's down here or down here. So you should have accumulated some more. So this is talking to the hodlers and you know, the people that are more swing traders, right? Excuse me. So should have accumulated, and up here pretty soon you should be looking to take some more profits again, right? Which is in this range, you know, from a higher term perspective, we're still in a neutral range, right? You know, with no biases. You know, if you, I always like to look at the chart inverted, so you're not. This actually looks kind of, you know, this looks very neutral actually. So you know, we're in a range. So as of right now, there's no reason to get mega bullish or mega bearish, right? We just literally cleared the middle of the range. We cleared the point of control. There we go. So we literally just cleared the point of control. We're at the value area high. So, you know, no reason to try to long it to the moon, and no reason to try to. We did enter in a scalp short that has taken profit. Could potentially go lower from this entry right here. If you're in this one right here, we had two daily levels that just were not giving it up, right? So, you know, this could turn into a swing, but I'd still be careful. There's a lot of momentums. Make sure you've secured profits and stop loss at entry. So that's where we are. And from a higher term perspective, we did break, well, we technically haven't yet. So we have not formed a higher high. So it's not reason to get mega bullish yet. And if you look at the volume, so this is why I post the charts. Okay. So neutral formation this week, still a very neutral, well-rounded formation. Okay, we're above the point of control at the value area high. If you don't know what that means, please watch the volume profile video part 1. That'll explain what all this means. Okay, looking at the volume on 12-hour candles. So if this is formed as a local high right here on the volume delta, we will have bearish divergence from this last high, right? This is actually higher. Let me see if I can pull this over. It's not a 15-minute candle. Okay. So, oh, that was 38. Zoom out. Okay. So this was the last time it came up to 39, about 39.3. So we actually have not cleared this high, and the volume delta is at a slightly higher high. So from a larger term perspective, we are building up some bearish divergence, and this is really powerful. So if it's confirmed as a local high, so remember last night I was saying right here, I was saying the volume delta, because look at this. We formed a lower high, and this is a higher high, so very bearish. I said we're going to come down, right? And down here, can't see this on the hourly, but volume delta is getting really, towards the shorts, and price was going up. So I said, all right, we're going to see a bigger bounce, probably before, drop. So, and then, we got the squeeze. So we do see some longs coming in, which is really good for the upside. But from a total volume perspective, I mean, if you just zoom out and look at this volume, we had one decent candle right here, but this is not the type of breakout volume and increase in open interest. I mean, open interest is not, it's right back where it was last time we were at this price, right? So this is not the increase in open interest that we're looking for. From this point to this point, we did form a massive bullish volume delta divergence. So I don't look at indicators much, but volume indicators is the biggest one that I look at, because if you think about it, right, this is what it means. Here, so from this point to this point, you needed a lot more shorts or sell orders to push the price down to right about the same price as over here, right? So you needed more people shorting, and the price was getting, and the price, all the shorts were getting absorbed, so it did not go down as low. So theoretically, if it was this, if the volume delta was this much lower by about, a billion, you expect it coming down, right? So that got super bullish right here, and hence we had a massive bounce. And now on this rise, it's getting bearish. And when you're in a range, that's to be expected. When you're in a range bound environment, there's really no, I'm not surprised when we're, when we approach the top of the value areas, we're getting a little bit bearish, and when we approach the bottom of the value area, we get a little bit bullish, right? That's to be expected. So what that means is that plays into the overall bias that we're range bound, right? So from a higher term perspective, we trade the range until the range breaks, right? I think a lot of people get bored of ranges and chops, but as I've shown you, we can accumulate so many different positions, longs from the bottom, shorts from the top, and then whenever we get a massive range break, that'll turn out massive profits. Just like right here, right? We accumulated longs, shorts, and when this broke, the shorts, paid out. So if we stayed in this range a little bit longer and we were able to accumulate longs from down here, maybe even a swing failure at the lows, that will give us a lot more positions to, cash out on when we go up. So from a higher term perspective, a couple of areas to look for is the range highs right here. And if we come up to the range highs and reject, I expect price to either come under a little bit and reject, or break the highs and swing failure and come back down, right? So if you're so here's the thing, I posted this video on my on our Instagram. Make sure you check it out. It was a nugget. So what it talked about is, figure out what type of investor or trader you are. If you're the type of person that is going to look at Bitcoin later, and I do, like 10 years later, right? And I do have my HODL positions. You just want to like dollar cost average when you're down here, and then you never sell until 10 years because your plan is 10 years, right? If you're worried about in the short term, this is when you should pay attention, right? So put it this way, if Bitcoin drops to 25K right now, are you going to be concerned, right? If the answer is no, because you're looking at a 10-year plan, then don't touch your portfolio when it comes up here, and just look to accumulate when it's down here, right? If the answer is yes, then you need to take a look at taking profits on Bitcoin, especially alts, and looking to accumulate more down here, right? Doesn't mean sell all, right? There's another little nugget I posted. So you always want to think in partials. You never want to just all in or all out. And especially for altcoins, they haven't been doing particularly well, especially on the drops in Bitcoin. So if you have large altcoin portfolios, I mean, we're not out of the woods in this formation yet. So I would still, look at selling some up here, buying some down here, right? Major areas, this right here, the 42 to 43K area. If we come up here, this is the next area. Look for major shorts. As I said, we're in a scalp short right now, but this is where I look for potential swing long position, because this is the next potential rejection area, right? If we're in a range and we come to the top of the range, that's where you want to short. Unless, right? So this is where I keep an eye on the volume and I update you guys. If we get a massive increase in net longs, open interest, and just volume altogether as we come up here, then I will tell you guys what is happening, and most likely we'll pull orders up here, right? And for the intraday trades, they're all there's actually a 43K trade right here. They're all in the active entries. So there's this one, next potential one. Actually, it's in the weekly plan. So this is the next swing right here, right there. Okay, so I will tell you to pull orders, but as of right now, the way that the volume is postured right now, you know, it's not posturing to break the range as of yet. You know, we're still forming bearish CVD divergences. So nothing to be concerned yet. If we break that, next area to look for is we have a massive naked point of control at 48K and the 50K psychological. There's also a GP up here. So this, what I would look for is a massive potential bull trap. So that was the other swing long that I had in the group. So these are the next areas we want to look out for. I mean, they're all outlined here, and same with the next, you know, the bearish scenarios where we want to accumulate those longs. So this is the 50K region. You have your GP right there, classic bull trap area. So this is what, you know, these are the couple of scenarios that could happen, right? So scenario number one, and I don't see this playing out for much further, because Bitcoin likes to put in these month-long consolidations, and it hasn't really put in, you know, especially in this cycle so far, we haven't really put in a consolidation that's much longer than a month, right? So we're almost a month in. So of course, when you're in range, there's always a potential that it just does, you know, one of these, and it definitely bores the heck out of people, right? You know, Bitcoin has historically put in 3-month long consolidations, but I don't see that happening in the range. But hey, I could be wrong, right? So that's why we trade the range until it breaks. Scenario number two, we come up here, visit the value area high, come sweep the lows in liquidity, and just take off, right? So I personally like this one a lot better, and I'll tell you why. So some of you guys, I mean, most of you guys should know that I am a massive bull on Bitcoin, right? I was crushing it in stock options, and I stopped stocks. So let me just preface every single video with I'm a massive bull. But the number one rule of trading is capital preservation, right? So we have our Bitcoin holding portfolios, the HODL positions, where you never touch. That's great. But this comes into play with your swing trading or day trading Bitcoin portfolios, right? So look, I am a massive bull, but here's the problem. In this market structure, I mean, if you just look at this, right? Or better yet, okay? Let me just hide everything. If you saw this, okay, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher low, technically still a higher low, right? Especially on the weekly, you know, you're still forming higher lows, right? So I just inverted the chart. So, you know, if this does not breach and come up here, this is going to look like a massively, in this case, bullish chart, right? So let's take our biases aside. So bullish chart. So why would you blindly just get, you know, why would you just blindly get, oh, did I just delete that? I just deleted everything. Okay. Accidentally. Hold on, let me pause the video and get those back. Okay, thank God I was able to recover those levels. That scared me. Hours of charting. But anyways, looks like so I got my levels back and all my charting back. Looks like we're pushing right here. So this is the next big region. But if we also swing failure these highs right here, that's another potential region I'm looking to short. But otherwise, we're just enjoying our longs. But I mean, there's no. Here, I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys the volume. This is on a minute chart. So that last push up, we had 9 million longs come in, but the rest was just short squeeze. So this is currently still short squeezing. Don't get me wrong, right? When there's a short squeeze, it can go very high, but until until longs are interested, it's probably coming back. So just like right here was all short squeezing, and it came back, but of course the short squeeze could start again. So, anyways, from that perspective, um, so actually completely forgot what I was saying, but there's no reason to get mega bullish right now. Even though we're on a pump right now, but usually if this was a convincing pump to break the range, we probably let's be fair, Bitcoin probably would have already done it on a massive increase in volume. So I mean, this does not. I mean, just looking at general volume, this does not look very impressive, right? So anyway, so from that perspective, once we start getting up here, look to take profits. Down here, look to reaccumulate, right? And then from a macro perspective, here's what I would say. So if we come up and if we come up and take 43K and go to 50K first and have a massive rejection off of 50K, that would look 48 to 50K rather. That would look a lot more bullish, I mean bearish to me, than if we were in this range, maybe take 43K, come back in, sweep 30K and continue back up. That would look a lot bullish to me, and here's why, right? If we come up here, just think about it. Think about how much bullishness would be in the market and how many people would be FOMO buying and how much shorts the market makers could fill up at 50K, right? That would allow them to reload. Getting close to this range would be so much, longs or buy orders happening. That would allow them to reload to take it lower, right? But if we don't come up here and they're not reloading and their idea is to take it up, and they want to think about it, right? If the big players and the market makers really wanted to take it up, there was no volume right here and there was no panic selling right here because we didn't sweep these lows. So I'm not saying it could happen, but here's the thing: when we think, right, we think in terms of probabilities, and we like to prepare for all scenarios. So here's the thing, man. I'll be the first person to tell you, if this goes straight to the moon, like I would be so happy. My portfolio would obviously be very, very happy, and same with all my long orders. Like, trust me, I will be the first to tell you if we just go to straight to 100K, I'd be thrilled, right? But as a smart trader, we have to prepare for all scenarios, and we have to prepare for downside, right? And we need to plan for the downside. So we already have long, so obviously, and if you're in spot Bitcoin, if Bitcoin goes to the moon, like, great, we don't need to worry, right? So that's why I'm so much more worried. Like, I am much more happier to miss a long than miss a short, right? Especially in this downtrend. Because think about it. If we miss a long, not that we have because we already have longs up here, but if we miss a long and we have spot Bitcoin, if Bitcoin goes to the moon, then we cash out heavy, right? But if Bitcoin goes down and we miss a short, our spot Bitcoin will suffer really hard. So I hope that makes sense. But just looking at, this is starting to look like a very balanced range. But just looking at here, this range back here, right? So this took, this matured much faster. But, if you just think about a range from up here to down here, or this could have been deviation of the highs. Same thing. We were in a descending triangle, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. I was going over this in the Friday update video. So we formed this low right here, right? Which technically was this low. This was the I believe this was the BitMEX panic wick, so I wouldn't count that as normal price action. So think about it. Right here, you broke. So you broke the lows. You broke the lows again. So this was not on increasing volume. So you can tell that this was not a sustained break because the volume was very weak. But also what this did is I bet you that back here, I mean, I remember a lot of people were so fearful. They were like, man, I kind of want to get out because I wish I got out at 40K, right? I wish Bitcoin was back up at 40K again. So this had a lot of selling. They grabbed the lows, grabbed all the stop losses, got all the liquidity, and bam, right back up, right? It wasn't a break the range high and then come back in and then go up again. It was literally we were not going higher, right? So this allowed them to fill all their longs. Bam, massive. I mean, look at the volume right here, right? Massive volume spike. Massive volume spike as the break. So, and we're not seeing that. I'm not saying, so here's the thing, I'm not saying it's out of the possibility. I'm not trying to shake anybody out of their positions, but I'm just saying what it's looking like, and being prepared for all scenarios, because it does look like, I mean, quite frankly, it just looks like it wants to be neutral and just range, range longer, right? So no reason to get mega bullish or mega bearish. Just like right here, we're coming down to the bottom of the range, right? People panicked, we got to bounce. People are coming down to the bottom of the range, people panic, and right back to the top of the range. So there was not a huge increase in volume or open interest right here either, right? So trade the range until it breaks. But I would much rather prefer that we come down and just take the lows one more time, or if we range here and come down somewhere in the 31K range again. I would like to see a lot higher volume and an increase in open interest on this next push up, for me to say like, hey, I won't even look at shorting the top of the range, and it's going to the moon, right? So yeah, so the next areas to look for is the 43 and the 50. Of course, I'd be happy with 50, but I think it's at least worth a hedge there. If you're unhedged, especially if you already have long positions, it's not a bad idea to hedge it, just in case it does one of these, right? Break up here, come around, swing failure, and then we sweep the lows. Because I think if we come up here, gather fuel, and sweep the lows, we'll probably hit the mid 24K range. So, but overall, on a long-term perspective, I mean, I'm still expecting somewhere between 95 to 250K on Bitcoin this year. We're just in a sideways range right now, so there's no reason to trade for 250K right now. We're just here to trade the range. And for more intraday trades, I will post them all in the active entries. So same thing, intraday we take longs and shorts from tops and bottoms of the range, so that way when we break out, like we had a couple of shorts right here that got some profits and then got stopped out. But at the end of the day, I'm more comfortable in taking those shorts because all the profits from the longs way more than covers those shorts, even if they got stopped out at a loss, right? I mean, we took profit and they got stopped out break even because they got a reaction. But to reiterate, this is why we do it, so the loss will be better. Same thing right here. We were short up here, so that's why I was longing down here and down here, because if it came crashing down again, the stops, if I didn't have an opportunity to take profit, those stops, the loss on the stops, would be more than covered by all the profits of all the shorts that were from up here. So hope that makes sense. That's the long-term time frame. There's really not much that's changed from last week. We're just literally going sideways. All the YouTube videos that it's like breaking Bitcoin doing this, Bitcoin doing that. My headline is breaking news, Bitcoin is in a sideways range. So trade the range until it breaks, and there's no reason to panic. There's no reason to FOMO as we come up to the top or the bottom of the range, and look for the swing failures of the ranges. That's why I got such a nice short right here. It was phenomenal, and you might be getting a swing failure right now. So all right, guys, I'm gonna cut it off. Looking to potentially short this, but if there's any questions, hit us up in the chat or hit us up on Instagram. And let's have another phenomenal week. Oh, and to update, we're at about 163K pips. One loss. That was this one that I psyched myself out and stopped myself out early. So, all right, guys, let's have an amazing week and let's crush it.